The most popular panfish are probably crappie, yellow perch, bluegill, and pumpkin seed. One of the fish that I like the most, though, is the bluegill. For some reason, they just have a pugnacious attitude. And also their shape. The bigger they get, you know, the rounder shape they become. And they get big shoulders and a little head and a small mouth. But they are so aggressive when it comes to hitting jigs, especially with plastic grubs. I think they're fun to catch, and a lot of times you can get them up in the 9.5 to 10-inch range, and they fight like crazy for their size, especially when you get them on ultralight outfits. Yes. This rock bass is almost fighting like a smallmouth or largemouth. Come here. Reminds me of the ones we were getting up north when we were at a place called Elk Island Resort. Oh, you know what? The hook just fell out of it. So there's a nice rock bass. You know, some people call them red eye. If you look closely, you can see they actually have red around their eye. So that one has got to be pushing 10 inches. So it's a good size, but look at the size of his mouth. There's no problem getting my thumb in there, not like the pumpkin seed or the bluegill. I thought I had him hooked well, but as soon as I grabbed his lower jaw, that hook just pulled out. You know, I'm reading the specs on this MFS, little one grub that worked really well. It's a 1/32 ounce. I thought it was 1/16. It's pink coach dog with a pink head, black eye. You got all that? It says right here on the package. So I thought I was using a 1/16. I was actually using a 1/32 ounce. That's what this little jig is, right here. So amazing. So this is the actual color right here. This is a bigger one, just so you can appreciate it. You see it's got a darker mark on one side, curly tail with a little bit of dark, like red on the tip. And then on the other side, it's got 3 little white specks. Look at the little ones here. Now you gotta look real close. See how tiny they are? And I'm going to show you that jig head because it is small. I have it right there. So there's one rigged up right here. So it's funny because I thought it was 1/16 ounce. It's 1/32. That is tiny. Can you see how tiny that head is? So this one you can see is really tattered because I've caught so many fish on it. The grub was about a 1/4 inch longer, but it's just kind of slipped back. So I've just kept putting it back on the hook. But that head is very small. Because of that lighter head and thicker body, you get a really slow descent rate, and that tail's still working a little bit. So I think that's why they have time to come up and literally inhale it. Remember, both the bluegill and the pumpkin seed are pretty small mouths, and when you get to a 1/32 ounce jig, that hook is very tiny. So they can actually grab it, and most of them were hooked really well. So that's what they look like. So you can see that's the one with that complicated name. They're small, but you know what? They are deadly.